So Toyota is sending us a 2024 Rav hybrid. The last Rav I had was $43,000. I wonder how much this one is. Especially since it has the optional Woodland package, we'll talk about a little bit later. Oh, it's made in Canada. Alright. And here's the engine spec, 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder, with 3 electric motors, 219 combined net horsepower. Only $34,695 and $500 for the optional green paint. They're all charging for paint now. They found another gimmick to get into your wallet. Almost all the manufacturers are doing this now. Not many options. $36,545. A lot cheaper than the other ones I've had lately. Not bad for a hybrid. And hybrids are all about fuel economy. Here's the claimed MPG. We'll have to discuss this a little bit later because it's a bit lower than the standard hybrid. A few reasons for that you need to know. So here it is in the flesh, so to speak. I do like this green color. It's very fitting. The U.S. Army green. Why it costs an extra $500 is beyond my thinking. Well, of course, it's to get $500 out of your wallet. So let's talk about the Woodland package. You get special wheels, gold color, right now covered in some dust, large off-road tires, interior suspension parts to beef things up a bit, and some black outlines to make the vehicle look cooler. As some journalists have been telling us, it has a raised suspension. People at Toyota said no, it does not, although the larger tires might elevate it up just a wee bit. Oh yeah, I forgot, you get mud flaps. And one of the reasons the price on this is low is because you don't get the luxury items available, like sunroof and power liftgate and all that stuff, which is fine because I don't want all that junk. Just stick to the basics here. And it's hot out here, so I'm going to roll this into the shade. Won't be as much for you to see because it's darker, but a lot cooler for me. There is one disadvantage with this off-road package. A standard hybrid Rav gets 41 mpg in the city, 30 on the highway, 40 overall. At least that's what they claim. But as we saw earlier, this drops to 37 overall, mainly because they drag with the big wheels and tires. And any raised suspension that might come from the bigger diameter tires, which causes a lot of air drag on the freeway. So we're going to take this out and do some fuel economy tests and see what the real fuel economy is. That's what you buy a hybrid for, right? That's why you need to watch my channel. Unlike these other fake testers who just go by the EPA rating, we take these out, put hundreds of miles on to get the real rating, which we'll be doing later, so don't go away. There are 3 things we do when we get a vehicle. Number 1, we check and see if there's a spare tire. This is an off-roader, I would hope so. I checked, it is under the floor inside the vehicle, but I have a bunch of gear in there, so I'm not going to pull it all out, show you. Unfortunately, it's just a small, kind of miniature tire, which is better than nothing. I remember when Toyota Ravs had a big spare tire carrier on the back tailgate, but maybe they don't do that anymore. So you can put a big full-size tire on, so yeah, I don't think they do that anymore. And secondly, we check to see what brand of tires they're putting on, and these are Falcons, and I'm not saying they're bad tires. I've never had good luck with them, especially going off-road, which is why I'm not going to do too much out here. You don't want to get a flat tire by the Mexican border at the wrong time of day. You think for what they're charging, they get some good Michelins or Pirellis or something, or BF Goodrich, Wranglers, but this is what we get. But the bottom line, Toyota put them on because they're cheaper to buy. Good or not, that's the real reason. It's to save money. And like we always do, we take the headlights out in the dark, do some night driving. That is a separate video we posted on YouTube. You won't be missing it because I have a link for that at the end of this video. So you get 2 videos to watch. Nothing fancy in here. It doesn't have the upgraded trim, but it's definitely good enough for me. Not too much cheap plastic in here. And we get Lots of nice rubber floor mats in the front and the rear, making it easy to clean and wash out with the hose. In the drive mode, Eco, Sport, EV, or Trail. I guess we'll be using this when we get out on the trail. Info screen's not the largest, but big enough for me. There's a lot of room in the glove box. We have to take out all those owner's manuals, which takes up a lot of room. Put it in the back with a spare tire, I say. Very simple climate controls. A few knobs, buttons, the way it should be. Easy to use buttons on the steering wheel. We still get that glare from the glass cover, which is famous on Toyotas and Lexuses. I don't know why they don't do something about this. Their test facilities in Arizona, where the sun shines like 99% of the time, you think somebody would notice and do something about this, but not to be. Why am I the only person that mentions this? You can get 20 RAV reviews on YouTube and nobody will say anything about this, even though they see it's there unless they're blind. Deaf, dumb, and blind. And thank you for not giving us an auto-dimming mirror. Can't stand those things. A simple manual. Dim, off, manual. Doesn't break. Cheap to fix when it does. We covered this in our nighttime video that you need to watch. Alright, part 1. Show and tell is over. We're going to take this out and do some driving, rack up some miles, get some fuel economy numbers. Since we have a gasoline engine with the front wheels and an electric motor for the rear wheels, this is technically a four-wheel drive, or as they call it, an all-wheel drive. But that doesn't mean you're going to take this out and follow Jeep Wagoneers and Land Rovers and the such. This is for light-duty use like we're doing here for a camping trip or mild rough roads. My favorite girls, Hillary and Kamala. Except these two are smarter than the originals. Don't we look comfy here? I didn't know we had white polar bears out here. That one moves about as fast as Sleepy Joe. One thing I like about the hybrid system, you have lots of bottom end torque because of the electric motors, which gives you excellent climbing ability on steep grades. Of course, we also had that when they offered the V6 engine, which they discontinued foolishly, but oh well, it's gone. Nothing you can do about that. One thing I've noticed about this Woodlands is it drives totally different than the standard RAV, which is designed for total comfort with kind of loose steering and, I won't say mushy suspension, let's just say softer suspension. Here the TRD suspension makes a big difference. We've got nice and firm stability, yet the ride is still comfortable. A bit of thumping from the tires, but no big deal. And the steering is totally different. Very quick, responsive, good feel, good feedback. Miles above the standard RAV steering. I don't know what they did, maybe it's the bigger tires. But it's very, very nice and very pleasant to drive, on or off the road. I will say one thing with these bigger tires and TRD suspension and quick steering, this RAV handles like a champ. Better than some of the Toyota cars I've driven. Takes corners very, very well. With great stability. Well, if we only had a V6 in here, I could have some real fun. Nice brakes, too. Very, very impressive for an SUV. And by the way, you have a lot of consumer magazines, road testers saying, don't get the TRD suspension on the Toyota because it rides too rough. And I've driven them all, and it's not true. A bit firmer, yet just as comfortable, with better handling. If I might choose between a TRD and non-TRD on any Toyota, I would definitely take the TRD any time of the week. The critics do not know what they're talking about. Well, this used to be the Border Patrol checkpoint where they'd be looking for drugs and other nasty stuff, but now they're too busy booking motel rooms, booking airplane flights, and passing out cell phones for the 2 million people across the border. They don't have time to do their job anymore. Unless that of a travel agent. So why bother? Because checkpoints are now closed. Your tax dollars at work. And if you voted for it, you got no right to complain. Now we're going to take this vehicle out tonight and do some fuel economy testing and see if we can complain about the miles per gallon. Will we get the advertised number or will we not? You're going to find out real quick. Well, do you think Toyota would get upset if I tried to cross the river in this RAV? If it sank to the bottom, they could always send me another one. They got more in stock. Uh-oh. Coppers. I don't think they're going to let me do that. Maybe next time. So, we can't get navigation without a subscription to some service now. Is that the way it works? Okay. I've noticed if you take backcountry roads, cruise around below 65 miles per hour, like we were just doing, you can get pretty good numbers here, 38.9. That's not realistic driving for most people. So tomorrow, we're going to take this out, reset the computer, do some heavy city traffic, and reset the computer and do a highway trip. Get some different numbers, a little more realistic for day-to-day driving. Oh, this number's not too bad. If you live in the back country, driving at 65 miles per hour, you might see this all the time. In 65 miles of city-only driving, I've been averaging 35.5 mpg. We're going to reset the computer and take a highway trip. See if the number goes up or if the number goes down. Hybrid systems are designed to work in city driving where the electric motor assists the gasoline motor for the best economy, but on the highway, hybrids usually shut down. We're running on the gas motor only, and so the fuel economy will drop. So I'm pretty sure our numbers are going to be slightly less than our 35 and 36, but you never know. We'll find out. Well, I've been on the road for about an hour, and I went from 35 mpg to 34 to 33, 32, kind of dropping. I wonder how far it's going to go. As you can see, and for the record, we are climbing slightly uphill, like 1,200 feet to 2,200 feet. Not a big difference, but enough to make a little difference. So let's refresh our memory here. It's supposed to be 38 city, 35 highway with an average of 37. And we got around 35 to 36 in the city and just under 32 on the highway. That's compared to the 4-cylinder non-hybrid I drove last year. We got 23 to 27 mpg for an average of 25. Do the math. So what's my take on this RAV after a week of driving? I can say for 36 grand, it's definitely a bargain. It's nice to get a vehicle. It's got the meat and potatoes on here with all the fluff like sunroofs and electric tailgates or doors and all that nonsense you don't really need. Like I said, the last drive I had was something like mid-40s. So this is definitely a bargain. The only drawback, most RAV purchasers do not want a hybrid. They just want a basic engine so they can go 300,000 miles and not have to worry about replacing hybrid batteries before then. And I'm told this off-road package is not available with the standard engine, just the hybrid setup, last I was told. As always, check with the dealer for the latest info. Alright, that's enough of the road test. Now we have a link for our headlight test and night drive coming up. You're already here, you might as well watch. I want to see how these headlights work. I want to see if they're any good. Don't you?